A lot of product managers are stuck in their career right now, and they've been working in the same company for a while, or maybe being a product manager for a couple of years, but it takes them really long time to even get promoted to the next level. Not to mention breaking into product management also induce lots of challenges, especially when they come from non-traditional backgrounds, such as not having an MBA, not having a technical background. In this podcast, we invited Deepika Pandhi. She's a principal product manager at Oracle to reveal the 3 unspoken secrets of how you are able to advance your product management career and get promoted faster, and understand the distinct differences between technical PM and traditional PM, and how you can advance your career without an MBA as well. Make sure to stay until the end of this video, where she gave you the top 3 secrets help her get promoted every single year and become principal PM with just 3 years. Hey guys, this is Dr. Nancy Lee, a direct product featured in Forbes. I've helped thousands of people land the dream PM job offer in fan companies and unicorn startup, and continue to get promoted as a product leader. In this channel, we'll talk about tech trends and free product management training. Like and subscribe. Check out new videos every Tuesday. Hi Deepika, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Nancy. I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. Actually, the honor is mine. I'm very excited to have you on the show because through my research, what really impressed me is that you actually came from non-traditional background and became product manager. And then every single year you get promoted. You become PM. Next year become senior PM. A year later become principal PM. Now you're managing $1 billion like project within Oracle. Is really one of the most important initiatives within Oracle, especially as very few women leaders and out there. I believe you have so much secret and strategy you like to share with the audience. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, and thanks for the great introduction.
Great, cool. Hey, Deepika, can you quickly introduce yourself and walk us through regarding your background so people can have a more deep dive regarding how you get where you are right now?
Thank you for the introduction. As you mentioned, so I quickly grew up in the ladder for product management. So I started as from a very small village. And then at that time, so I didn't know about the tech. I always had that curiosity to join the tech. So once I completed my engineering, and then I moved to India's top IT firm, which is TCS. That's how I started my career. And then from that on, I moved from developer role to support role, and then to the associate product manager. So right now I work as principal product manager at Oracle for their flagship product, which is Accelera Cloud.
So Deepika, you brought up something interesting regarding upbringing. You mentioned that you grew up in a little village, and if I understand it correctly, you're also the first person in your little village to actually study far away from your village. Can you tell us more regarding your upbringing?
Yeah, sure. So I was in a village which is like 1,400 people around, and everybody knows everybody. So for the study itself, even for schooling, we have to go like a 30 minutes drive to another place. Yeah. So the schooling was difficult, but I think I just want to appreciate my mom and my father, like how they, during those times also, how they want to put all the study, they want their kids to be study better. So they don't want to send us to a local school there, but to a good school. And then the challenge was like not at the school level, but also at the college level. So being a girl in the small village, it was very hard for my parents to send us like outside of the village, right? Sending you alone to a different, probably a state or somewhere better college. So they want to keep you close. So the college which I choose was like around like 45 minutes away. So I have to travel every day from my village to the nearest city. And then from there, I need to travel. So it's like every day there was like a 45 minutes or travel one way I have to do.
Wow. Cool. And clearly your family really putting lots of effort and seeing you growing outside of the village, and actually have to break the glass ceiling, get where you are. And I think it's totally up the surprise. Now you're in America, even further away from where you grew up. But this is a great part regarding you continuously growing and advancing your career. And lots of time life is unpredictable and get where we are. So let's talk about the unpredictable journey. You also talk about several times regarding you actually start from like a tech support background, get into principal PM today, and also get promoted 3 times within 3 years. So can you help us walk us through regarding some key moments and decisions that led you down this path?
Yeah, Thank you. So my journey has definitely been non-linear, but deeply fulfilling. I started as a developer and then moved to support engineering and then to the PM ladder. I love building things as a developer, but over time, like I realized I was also very curious about how customers actually use the product, right? What works for them and what doesn't,
Yeah.
and why. That curiosity led me to move into a support engineering role. And then support was a game changer. Like I was suddenly on the front lines working directly with customers, helping them solve like real complex issues. That
Hmm.
experience really sharpened my problem solving skills and taught me how to ask better questions. But more importantly, it gave me a system level view of the product, right? And helped me understand the pain points that one were not like always obvious to engineering or the product teams. So then came a turning point. I started working more closely with product managers and found myself asking, why are we like prioritizing this feature? Or can we solve this like differently? So at some point, like I think my husband was like listening all this conversation with product managers and me. And then he said me like, why don't you try a product management? And that
Hmm.
like stuck with me. So I didn't have an MBA and I wasn't sure I would fit the mold like of what I thought a PM should be, but
Yeah.
I leaned on my support experience and technical background, and I made that transition. I was fortunate to find a mentor like my director at that point who guided me on early on, and I focused on learning the business side of the job. And within 3 years, I became a principal product manager. So for me, every stage, like development, support, and now the product has been like about staying curious, solving real problems, and continuously learning. It's not the traditional path, but I think that's what it makes powerful. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, what you said resonate with me because when I transitioned into PM, I come from technical side as well. I was systems engineer, Shell Oil, didn't know how to code. And something what you said stuck to me is that even if you don't have the MBA background, and doesn't mean that you're not going to be a superstar as a product manager. You can just leverage your strengths and you can learn business side things. And also personally believe that it's easy to learn all the business stuff compared with technical stuff, right? So you can learn go-to-market strategy within 1 weekend. We have lots of very intensive training. You learn it and you know, get go-to-market strategy. And next part is implement. But if you want anybody to really learn all the like how AWS architecture systems work, I think a lot of people say, wow, give me 2 weeks or 2 months. I just couldn't learn it, right? So people need to leverage their strengths to get to where they are. So let me also ask you this question. So you kind of mentioned your husband kind of like, hey, maybe you can give a try in product management. So it's more about his inspiration. So what about you? What actually sparked your interest in product management? And what are some of the initial challenges you faced during this transition?
Yeah. So honestly, like for me, it was not like a planned move at all, right? So I
Mhm.
didn't plan I want to be a product manager, but really sparked my interest in product management was my time in support actually. So as a support engineer, I was constantly working on like high impact issues, bugs, performance problems and whatnot, customer escalations. And over time, I started noticing like trends, like the same kinds of issues coming up, avoidable gaps in the product and things that could have been fixed like much earlier in the cycle if only the right questions had been asked. Right. So that
Mhm.
curiosity of wanting to solve before something becomes a problem is what pulled me toward the product. So I wasn't just like interested in fixing issues anymore. I wanted to help shape what we built and why we built it. So the second part of your question, right? Like what were the initial challenges, right?
Mhm.
So making the move wasn't easy for sure. So
Yeah.
because there are like there was like some really mindset shifts and challenges I had to work through. The first was like switching from like a reactive to proactive thing. Okay.
Mhm.
So as an a sport engineer, like your mindset is like solve now, fix fast, right?
Yeah.
Kind of that kind of environment. But in product, you need to like zoom out and think strategically, like
Mhm.
roadmaps, probably long-term user value, what not to build. I had to like
Yeah.
train myself like to stop thinking in terms of fixing the issues and
Yeah.
start thinking in terms of designing and preventing it.
So actually that's really great point, especially for people changing the mindset regarding product management. I call the product thinking a shift mindset. So how exactly you help yourself to shift those mindset? Because we have seen lots of people inside of product manager etc. training, and they came from very different background. Have people literally from artist background, completely different. Of course, engineers and consultant designers, they all use the old way of thinking. So how you quickly help yourself transition into product management thinking?
Right. So it didn't happen like at one night. Obviously, it take little time because yes, I had that technical knowledge. I had that product, how it works inside out, but I didn't know how the business worked.
Yeah.
So it took me like every day was like a challenge. When I initially moved to product management, I moved like within a product, like I was a support engineer for that product and I moved to as a product manager. So changing the mindset of the people was also a question, right?
Yeah.
So, and then every day or every point, I need to probably reset that expectation. Like you are talking to a product manager now, not to a support engineer. So I know like during interview, a product manager interview, there is a very common question like, how do you resolve a conflict? So I had those conflicts in these phases. So, but it's like more collaboration with engineers, setting the right expectations when they are asking questions and talking in their terms, like what exactly they want to know. Because as a tech PM, you need to be aware of the architecture of the system and everything, right? And then you need to talk
Exactly.
in terms of what engineers thinking. And at the same time, you should be also talking in terms of more clearer thinking and concise thinking, like, and to share it with the exec team or the senior members of the product team, right? So it's just like a every day you need to set that expectation and learn on the job. Yeah.
I love this. So Deepika, except this one, do you have other challenges when you just transition into PM?
So yeah, the other challenge which I had was the over reliance on my technical comfort zone. So coming from support, I knew the internals, logs, errors, configs inside out. But as a PM, I had to like shift from how does this break to why does this matter? I realized that like a deep tech knowledge is great, but only if I could translate it only into a clarity for design, marketing, and exec teams. So that was a learning curve. So, and the one last one which I want to mention, another challenge which I think the hardest one which I say is saying no without a guilt. In support, we are
True.
like wired to help yes to everything, right? So you have an issue, you have to fix it, or you find a way to fix it. But as a PM, I had to like learn how to say no, especially when the request came from the people I used to work alongside every day as a support engineer. If you are doing a transition within a product, right? So that was hard, but learning to say no with clarity and explain the trade-offs, that's what made me better. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even I felt today, there's so much changes we should make regarding our own software. We're building our own AI chatbot, AI interview within our own company right now. We're doing a self software company, like development right now, and plus our own training. And there's so much like new things coming up. It's all about yes, saying no. I'm sorry when you do this. Yes, I felt that way even today. I'm glad you brought it up. I bet lots of product managers have this kind of feeling. Feel like yes, we have to say no more efficiently.
Yeah.
Now let me also switch gears regarding some technical, non-technical conversation, So especially nowadays, and lots of people want to grow their career, then they choose technical PM or non-technical PM. Can you give us a specific examples regarding what the key differences between technical and non-technical PM and how they can choose their career early on?
Great question, Dr. Nancy. This is the question when it got asked a lot of time, especially by engineers thinking about moving into product roles. Like I've been mentoring the new PMs or some senior PMs also, and this is like a very common question if they want to transition to tech or non-tech. So from dev to principal product manager, I've seen like both sides up close. Like
Yeah.
and then here's how I try to explain it. Let's talk about first technical PMs, right? So tech PMs usually work on products that are used by developers, engineers, and or involve like a deep platform level work. Things like databases, which is my area, or a cloud infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
The API or the cloud platforms. You need to understand the architecture, how systems talk to each other, and maybe even how a query planner or a storage layer works. Not necessarily to code it, but to ask the right questions and connect technical details to the user needs. For non-tech PMs, on the other hand, often work on like customer-facing applications like mobile apps, consumer websites, or B2C features, where the focus is more on UX, growth, and marketing alignment and the customer behavior. So the core PM skills in both the streams is same, like empathy, clarity, decision making, communication, prioritization. But the difference is the language you speak with your teams. So that's the
Tell us
main
more.
thing.
Give us a specific example. What do you mean by language you speak to the team?
Yeah. So as a tech PM, like when you are talking to engineers, you need to understand the architecture, how the flow goes along in that particular part of the product. right?
Yeah.
So when you're talking to engineers, you need to probably use the exact terms which are there in the architecture and explain them very well. Or maybe you should know the underlying technology also, not how the actual coding was done, but just to understand how the technology works underneath. So
Yeah.
that when the engineers ask you a question or ask you to clarify something, you have that sufficient knowledge to explain to them. Even though we talked about tech versus non-tech PMs, you don't have to like, if somebody is starting new, right? So you don't have to like start technical to be a great PM. Even in technical products also, there are like some non-tech PMs who did great. So what
Yeah.
matter is your curiosity and your ability to learn, and your skill is asking the right question.
Yeah, totally. And I like to second that because even myself, actually, I still today I don't know how to code, but I know how to code using ChatGPT using AI. But
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
how to code,
that's
but I
great.
know system design. And then when I work on most technical product, I start my career as an AI product manager. And that was 10 years ago before AI was hot. That was just a brand new, very challenging task. We're using machine vision to help cities reduce car crashes. Then I move into something even more technical, which is edge computing. Edge computing even more technical than cloud computing because it's decentralized cloud. It was so difficult, so technical, and took me a little bit half a year to really fall in love with decentralized clouds. And this is crazy technical, but I end up helping the company launching the first 5G edge computing product in the world, in collaboration with Microsoft and Amazon. And there's like lots of great accomplishment out there, and getting invited to speak at conferences every single month. However, it took a while for me to really learn, fall in love with this role, but doesn't mean that you have to know how to code. You have to cloud engineer to create edge computing product, completely different. And what really matters is that your decision makers, your quick understanding of all technical element, being able to communicate with the engineering team, leader team, execute the strategies, and then actually your product can make millions of dollars for the company. And that's the true definition of a great product manager.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Your background is always inspiring me, Dr. Nancy. And the things which you said, yes. And also, I just want to cite it like AI today makes it easy to code, easy to learn code. You don't have to do anything. So you just have to be like in a plain English, you need to just describe your description, right? The prompting has to be better with AI tools. But yeah, I totally cite what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Hey guys, we have a separate videos and playlists regarding how to become AI PM. I also separate video regarding how I created the video streaming services without coding, but just leveraging AI within like 2 hours. You should definitely check out our playlist. I'm going to link it in the description of the show note as well. Everyone can just start learning for free. So Deepika, this also lead to another important question, and you kind of answered it already. So do you really think people need to learn how to code today to become a product manager? Especially yourself come from coding background, people are easy for her. She knows how to code. But what do you think? Do you think you really need it? And how much coding do they need? Is it true you use AI to code? And let's give up computer science majors completely. So tell us more.
Yeah, no, this is such a common question, even though AI can code today, but still people who are transitioning, they still have the same question again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially from engineering background, moving into PM, right? Or from the folks outside the tech wondering if they are technical enough to do this. So based on my journey, here's my take. So no, you don't need to know how to code to be a great product manager, but you do need to be comfortable working with those who do, like
Mm.
engineers, right? So that's like my high level take on it. I came from development background, so yes, I can read code logs, and people will say, "Oh, it's easy for her to say that," right? It helped me earn trust faster in technical teams and made conversation more efficient. But this is important. Like writing code is not the job of a PM. That's what you need to
Mm.
understand, right? So your role is to deeply understand the user problem, shape the product vision, and make sure everyone is aligned on solving the right problem. Knowing how to code doesn't help if you can't prioritize or communicate clearly or bring clarity to the chaos, right? So that
Exactly.
said, like some technical literacy definitely helps. You can ask like a smarter questions in engineering meetings, right? You don't get lost in the architectural discussions. You understand the trade-offs faster, or you can make more trade-offs with engineering. Oh, this can be a low effort, or this can be a high effort. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. But even if you don't code, you can absolutely learn to be technically fluent by today, reading the design docs or just go in AI and try to do some coding and do some practice around it. Staying curious and being like humble. Don't let your ego come in a way when you are learning something new. I know it'll be a little challenging, but as the time goes along, you will get there.
Yeah, Deepika, I think you summarized very well regarding it's more about your prime management capabilities that carry you and help you get promoted in the long run, not just you know how to code, not coding at all. And which also lead to another important question I do love to ask you. You're among the very few people, especially female leaders, who work on $1 billion project. So let me ask you, for product manager working on large scale organizations like yours, right now you work on $1 billion product for your company, and especially with a limited context on certain product areas. So how can they effectively collaborate with engineering teams on those large scale organization projects?
Yeah. This is such a real challenge, I would say, and one I have personally experienced. When I first moved into product management from support role, I was already familiar with the tech side because I just transitioned within the product, right? So I knew the customer, I was not a newcomer. But when you move to a large scale, different organization, and you will be like a newcomer again, right?
Mm,
And in my current role at Oracle, I work on like a highly technical product where many
yeah.
of the engineering peers have like 15 plus years of experience on that
Wow.
specific platform than I do. So how do you navigate what that kind of dynamics? I have tried few things. So this is till now have worked with me, for me. So hopefully it work for the others also. So the first which I want to point out is lead with curiosity, not with ego. I already referred it earlier, but I
Mm-hmm.
want to reiterate that, right? Don't try to prove you like you know everything. Engineers, like what I've seen is they respect honesty. I used to say, like in the calls with engineers in my new role, hey, I'm not familiar with this part of the system. Can you walk me through it like you would do it for a new hire? So this invites like a collaboration rather than competition.
Yeah.
So and yeah, so the other part is like be the clarity filter. So you may not know the product inside out, but you can bring the clarity to what problem we are solving and why it matters, right? So you don't have to like be explain how the technically it works, but at least when somebody's discussing it, you can just try to bring clarity to that situation. So yeah, and also I think we already referred like use your past strengths to your current role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in my case, I was a support engineer. I always used to ask these like root cause questions.
Yeah.
So I started applying those to our product situation also. Like what triggered this request? Like what changed in the environment? And have we heard this from more than one customer? So that just gave me a way
Mm.
to contribute meaningfully without being the deepest tech expert in the room. Yeah.
That's a very smart question to ask. Have you heard from all customers? How many customers said this? Now you go back, oh, let's collect some data to report back to the principal PM. She asked really smart questions. We don't have data in hand. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
very, very smart. That's how you leverage your strengths. And not everybody come from those development support engineering roles. So now you come in, ask very brand new smart questions and they get them stuck. And say, okay, so need to go back, collect data. It's a very, very smart. Awesome.
Yeah. And I also want to say, like, play the long game. Trust doesn't come overnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's with engineering or with all the stakeholders, like exec or senior VPs or with the marketing team. So give it some time. Try to ask like a logical question, not to impress, but to reduce the back and forth discussions with different teams.
Cool. So now, Deepika, let's also switch gear to something I'm passionate about, you too, regarding how do we increase more diversities in the tech space, especially the very few successful female leaders in the space. And you're one of the few who actually quickly become principal PM and managing $1 billion product nowadays. What advice would you give to other women who's also looking to learn and accelerate their career in product management space?
Yeah. No, this question is really close to my heart
Mm-hmm.
because while PM as a field is evolving, the challenges women face, especially around visibility, confidence, and
Yeah.
advocacy, are still very real.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So one of the first things I would say to women entering or trying to grow in a product management is you absolutely belong here. Even if you don't
Beautiful.
see many others like you around the table, that doesn't mean you don't deserve a seat. So let me
Mm-hmm.
share like few lessons from my own journey. So if it can help others, right? So the first thing I want to say is you don't need to fit a mold to be effective.
Tell us more.
Yeah, I started my, like as we are talking, I started as a developer and then moved to sport and only later transitioned to product management. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
go to business school. I wasn't using like a heavy frameworks or the
Mm-hmm.
buzzwords which people talk around in the meetings. Early on, like I often like questioned myself, especially when I saw an MBA grads using big strategy words or when
Yeah.
people dominated the room with confidence. I used to think like, do I need to be more like that to grow or should I do MBA? I was like reframing all those things in my mind, right? But over
Mm.
time, I learned like the real product impact doesn't come from sounding smart. It comes from bringing clarity and making the progress. So stay grounded in your strengths and don't underestimate the power of listening deeply and connecting cross functionally. So the second one which I really want to mention is speak up even if your voice shakes.
Mm.
Okay. There will be times when you are the only woman in a room full of senior leaders or probably engineers. I've been there. So just in case.
Mm-hmm.
So what helped me was preparing well and asking one crisp question or offering at least one clear insight in those meetings over time.
Wow.
And over time, like those moments help me build presence and trust. But you don't have to like ask like full load of questions, try to understand everything. Probably just one question will make a difference. And remember,
Wow.
like, you
Keep going. Yeah.
yeah, and then like just like we don't have to like speak the most, you just have to add a value. That's the main part there.
I like
And
this strategy a lot, actually, and focus on one thing. And so instead of saying a lot, I personally believe that less is more.
it
Lots of
less
things
is
in my life, less is more. There one gazillion things I can do, less is more. Illustrate quality trumps the quantity. And especially if you have those kind of one best clear questions, and then your focus on that one question, and that one question is more memorable compared with, oh, I remember Deepika speaks a lot. Or I remember Deepika asked that specific question that was so sharp and really get to the point, right? So what kind of personal branding you want to leave to the room? So therefore, you also leverage regarding comparing with other MBA who is buzzword speaking a lot. Well, the quality is way more important. I like how you shift the mindset so people feel less scared, less worried, less nervous, more focused on what the true value can add on, and let's focus on one single most important value. You definitely hit the head on the nail.
I think one wise man said, like to the less speaking, which you mentioned, right? We have two ears and one mouth. You have to listen more and speak less, at least when you are starting in a big organization. So that's how he helped me. So the other thing which I want to mention from my journey is like when you are new to the team, find allies, like and ask
Mm.
for help, right? So, and this is big. I used to try to figure out everything out on my own. Initial couple of months I did in Oracle, but in reality, like asking for help is a strength, not a weakness.
Yeah.
Find probably mentors, join communities, like not within organization, but outside also, like PMA give you a lot of opportunity to connect with different people, different backgrounds, understand the similar kind of environment they are having, or even just reach out to another woman PM on LinkedIn, right? And you'll be surprised how many people are willing to share their path and their lessons and even advocate for you. So, and if you ever feel isolated, like build your own circle also. Probably. I started mentoring younger PMs and engineers, and that gave
Mm.
me the confidence and clarity I didn't even realize I needed. So, like, help others to help yourself. That's what I feel. Yeah.
This is beautiful. Yeah, we do have a lot of Parliamentary Accelerator alumni panel coming up. I believe Deepika is also speaking on one of the upcoming panels for alumni only event. And we have over thousands, over 1,500 alumni within all the like top tier companies nowadays. And you're right, it's more about learning and also start networking and sharing without expecting returns. It's one of the ways for everybody to start growing. Very well said. I couldn't say it better than what you said. Perfect. And now let's also about resources, Deepika. So where do you think women or any product managers in general can find support and resources help them navigate their career nowadays? Because I'm a personal believer, personal growth mindset. We are people who continue advancing our careers throughout our entire life. I think life is a university, but in part of growing, there must be lots of help we need and resources. So where do you suggest people find support and resources? What kind of resources do you use?
So absolutely one of the best places I have seen for women or like for anybody who want to transition into product management to find a meaningful support is the Product Management Accelerator program by you, Dr. Nancy. What I love about this program is that it not only like help build product skills, but also gain the confidence and the visibility. It goes kind of beyond frameworks and templates. It offers that community coaching and real conversations about navigating the unique challenges faced in this field. It can feel isolating at the times, especially if you are the only woman PM on a team or if you are coming from a non-traditional background. But program like PMA offer like a safe space to ask the questions, get mentorship, and grow alongside others who genuinely want to support your journey. Yeah. So I'll highly recommend checking it out. Yeah. Whether you are just entering the field or trying to level up into the leadership role. Other than PMA, I've also followed like there are other people who have done like it depends on the space you are in. Let's say you are in tech space, then you just like follow certain people in LinkedIn for the tech space. I personally followed Shreyash Joshi. Yeah,
He's
so
pretty
he
good.
has yeah he is pretty good so and then he shared a lot of wisdom there, so just like once you are in a field, first choose a field and then try to find people in that field and then follow along.
Beautiful said. And for everybody who's interested in Product Management Accelerator, Deepika is also one of our alumni, and we have program for aspiring PM and senior PM. I invite everyone to check it out by going to our masterclass designed for either senior PM or aspiring PM. And our senior PM masterclass is called From Unstuck to Unstoppable, and how to land a high impact senior PM role in 60 days using AI to shine, even with a tough job market. You can go to our website, pmaccelerator.io/senior product manager to sign up. For aspiring PM masterclass, you should also go to pmaccelerator.io/masterclass. We'll have different type of tailored free training for all of you guys. You can get started learning for free starting from today. I'm also going to link it in the description of the show note as well. So Deepika, thank you for sharing all those great insights, especially all those inspiration, helping people to grow and also being vulnerable. Talking about you do feel very insecure at the beginning, the only woman, and other people speak so much more than you, feel like you belong or not belong. And that's like very great insight for really all the leaders or aspiring PMs and out there to feel like, yeah, they are not alone. We're just in the process navigating the complexity of their career journey as well. And thank you so much for joining us. So Deepika, let me ask you the last question. If people have any follow-up questions, where can they find you and follow you?
Yes. First of all, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Nancy. It's been great conversation. Yes. So if you want to follow me, so on LinkedIn, I think, so we'll just link my LinkedIn profile there. So, and then you can connect me over LinkedIn. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to include her LinkedIn in the description of show note. Everybody can start follow. She will also become one of the next Shreya Joshi in the future in the tech space as well. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing with us today, Deepika. We have spending so much effort inviting the best guests and sharing all the insider secrets with all of you guys. If you find today's podcast useful, insightful, make sure to like, comment, and share this video or podcast episode with any senior product manager or aspiring PM who want to grow and accelerate their career as well. And you should also follow us in all your favorite social channels, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Prime videos as well, and LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and X as well. And this is Dr. Nancy Lee from PMAccelerator.io, and I'm going to see you in our next video right here. Thank you for joining us, Deepika.
Thank you, Dr. Nancy.